How's it going, everyone? This is Drea with another damn level. Just here to give you another quick channel update about what's going on, what's been updated, and what we're working on. Some new recording gear, so hopefully I don't sound like I am in a tin can anymore. You'll be able to understand me a little more clearly. Hopefully the lower end of things will be a little more clear so you can hear my voice. I was using like a $20 mic before, but I managed to get my hands on an actual studio mic now. So hopefully that will clear things up a little bit on the audio end. I got a message or two about not being able to understand me when my sentences kind of trail off. And that was due to the mic threshold and just the how the mic functioned. It really wasn't that great of a mic, but we got new equipment now, so hopefully you'll be able to understand me a little more, which is exciting, kind of building things up. We're going to go over a couple things for the channel in this quick update video, or at least hopefully quick update video. Chances are I will ramble off at some point and end up taking way more of your time than I intended to. First things first is part of the Calc engine is actually up on the site. It is definitely in beta, just out of beta, so right out of alpha. We did an experiment with the latest Necro build that came out with the annotation system and using the calculation engine. It turns out YouTube does not let us create annotations small enough to fit in the area that the skill icon on screen takes up. So I'm currently working and experimenting with a couple different things to get those to line up correctly, whether it be, change the size of the skill bar in game or use a different type of annotation or stack the annotations differently on screen to fit them all in there in a less chaotic way. Like if you look at them in the video, they overlap and they do a bunch of funny things. We can see here, we can see all the little annotations and how they go all crazy. And like some of them stick, and if you hover over part of one, it'll give you two, and it's madness. So hopefully we will change how that works and get that to work a little better, whether it be how we stack them or if we make the skill bar bigger, we'll get that to work a little better. But it's very exciting, the fact that if you do click on one of those annotations, it'll take you to a page like this. This page shows some basic stats that all skills use inside Guild Wars 2, since that's our test ground for this calculation engine. And when you're in here, you can actually change the numbers, and you'll see it will change the damage that that particular skill will do given a specific equation that's used to calculate skill damage in game. The cool thing about this is in game you'll see the damage that it will do before reductions. So before it subtracts the target's armor value from that particular hit, whereas our system does that for you. So this is how much damage it would do after the target armor reduction. And you can see that in the little tooltip over there, we divide by target armor value. So this is the actual damage that should be done in game given your weapon strength and your power and your level and all the other factors that go into that particular skill. So we still have some player data points to put in here and update depending on the skill that we're using, but we have the basic ones in there right now. Unfortunately, with the way the calculation engine works, it requires us to know a fair amount about the inner workings of that particular game. And right now, we're actually missing a bunch of numbers for utility skills. So right now, the only skills we'll be able to put in the calculation engine are weapon skills for Guild Wars 2. I'm working quite a lot to try to figure out what those missing values are. It's the skill power and the skill coefficient for the utility skills. That's what I don't know. And I can figure them out given enough time and enough experimentation, but that takes quite a while. So it might be a while before utility skills are in the system to do the live calculation that you see here. And if anyone has those numbers, please get in contact with me. I would love to get them from you. so we can move things forward. But for right now, it is just weapon skills. But the fact that the calculation engine is up and running and we're able to put it in an annotation for you so you can go look at the specifics of a particular skill is quite exciting. On top of that, I'm going to be trying some new video formats. We'll structure the videos a little differently for builds, the gear and traits. We might combine both videos because right now a full build generally happens in 2 different videos for me right now. We go over the gear and traits, and then we go over to the skill combinations and some of the cooldowns and reductions. And I've noticed a large trend that the second video gets less than half of the views that the first video does. So I think we're going to change to a format where I do all of the build in a single video. And that's perfectly fine. I'm not necessarily disappointed. It'll take some time to really dial in how things work and what formats stick and what don't. But I think we're going to change up the format and see if that helps you guys out a little more. Because we don't want to leave people hanging, which wasn't the intent when I set up the original format. We'll just give it to you all in one dose. The original intention of the 2-video format was to not overwhelm new players. But I've interacted with a couple players that are new to the game that felt that the first video kind of left them hanging, then they had to wait for the second video if it was one that I was in the process of putting together. And we don't want that. We were trying to give them, have it so we produced 20-minute chunks, but if it's, we can fit the whole build in 30 minutes and everyone's fine with that, we'll definitely do that. So that's a format change that will probably take place with the next build that comes out. Everything will just be in one video. And then hopefully we'll have the annotations figured out so you can go take a look at the skills on the site and you can do your player data math over there to see how much damage each skill will be doing for that build at your particular level, so on and so forth. Lastly there was a stream for Guild Wars 2 that revealed a fair amount, actually, about the upcoming changes to traits, skills, and some of the new content that will come with Heart of the Thorns, which is actually quite exciting. One of the biggest changes is with the trait system. The trait system is getting a drastic change, in my opinion. The changes are that you can only choose 3 trait lines to have active at any given time. What this means is when you have 1 or 2 extra points left over from your build and you just throw 1 point into a 4th or into your 5th line when you're making a build, you won't be able to do that anymore. The idea is that they're taking away 2 lines that you could potentially put extra points into, but they're giving you more points. And what that means is that you'll be able to choose 3 trait lines and then completely fill out those 3 trait lines. So you're going to be getting 3 Grandmaster traits. So it's technically less options, but more power is what they're going for. It's a very interesting change up to how things currently work. And of course, they're revamping a lot of the traits. They did a lot of combining current traits into ones to make ones that were more attractive, because there were traits that just weren't taken by anyone really at all, because it was completely inferior to some of the other traits that were available for that specific tier or at all. In my opinion, a good example of this is the falling traits. None of my friends and no one I know ever has taken one of the fall damage traits. But it will bring in some interesting decisions that is going to break the current metas for a lot of classes, like for Elementalist. What the Grandmaster passive in Arcana was that you got a boon for every time you went into a new attunement. So if you went to water, you got regeneration. If you went to fire, you got might. That has now become an active, like one that you have to choose is a Grandmaster trait. And this now leads to the decision of, do I take Evasive Arcania, where you get your free spell whenever you dodge, or do you take I get a boon every time I move to a different attunement? because the current meta relies on both of those very heavily right now. So it may not break anything, and some people may just be, I want boons, and another may be, I just want the spells. But it's an interesting change up that should change how builds are made quite a lot. With all of that being said, we will go back on the channel and go over the builds that would have already been done when those changes hit to make sure that you guys know what builds work and what don't, and what you may need to change to make an old build viable. I'll also sit down and go through the new trait system in a video just to show how the new changes work and how all of that rolls together. They did mention the fact that those trait changes will be coming before the expansion, because they're going to be building on it with the expansion. So they kind of want to get everyone used to the new trait system before the big expansion hits. So it'll occur obviously before the expansion, and I should be able to cover it and show you how everything works. That way you're ready for it when it's added onto in the new expansion. Even more on top of that, there's utility skills that we all know that don't fit into a particular category. Another example of that is elites. Most elites don't fit into a particular category, like Tornado for Elementalist doesn't fit into signets, it doesn't fit into glyphs or cantrips or any of that. So none of the traits that we get really help that particular skill. With the upcoming updates, they mentioned and showed that the elite skill Tornado for the Elementalist is becoming a cantrip. So that means all the traits that you take for cantrips give you stability and regeneration and things like that. Your elite skills will actually be able to benefit from those. They're trying to categorize all of the utility skills to be in a particular group that can be affected by a trait, which is a change that I'm very excited for, because I'm very sick of my elite being really damn near useless compared to just some of my straight up utility skills or even my weapon skills. So that's about it for the update. Sorry if I talked your ear off. It was kind of a lengthy update. Oh, we have one more announcement. Actually, we've been streaming pretty consistently. Mondays is Heroes of the Storm. We try to stream Diablo on Fridays. And Noble Titan has been streaming Bloodborne at least 3 times a week. So the Twitch channel is all set up. We're live. You can go see some past broadcasts that we've done on Twitch TV / Another Damn Level. Please go check that out. We'd love some more viewers to really justify having the channel. If we don't have that many viewers, I don't think we'll keep streaming, and we'll spend more of our time on the YouTube side of things, making more structured videos. There will be some stream highlight videos coming out here pretty soon for all of you to laugh at how terrible I am. And that is it. That's it. I promise. That's the end of this particular update. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for subscribing. Tell your friends, tell your family. And we will see you in the next video.